Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So just earlier today, minutes ago, I released a quite comprehensive video of the largest problems that I believe there are in MCOC for new and free-to-play players altogether. And it's about a half an hour long video, and I did not want to pile on top of it another major issue that I have certainly been made aware of. And this video is also highly requested by a lot of people in community, and this video is going to address all of the problems with gold and Iso-8 shortage and my potential solutions, how to ease the burden for new and also relatively high-end players when it comes to acquiring Iso-8. And I think they also would not really break the game economy and progression rates too quickly. Right, all of that being said, we can jump to the game scene, where I'm going to try my best to explain it a bit quicker. So the problem with Iso-8, that'll basically everybody who doesn't spend absolute ton on crystals has a problem with Iso-8 and gold for most part, and it can only be mitigated by spending countless hours in arena. Otherwise you're going to end up with a vast majority of your roster being actually left at level 1 rank 1, because you simply do not have these very basic but fundamentally important resources to take these champions up. And that is unfortunate reality, which is also extremely depressing and is kind of deterring a lot of people from increasing their engagement in this game. Because what's the point of getting these new champions? First and foremost, that's already incredibly Herculean task to get the champions that you actually like. And second of all, what's the point of getting them if you struggle taking them up for months and weeks out? So the first problem and first bit of problem, the first solution actually for Iso-8 and gold problem quite equally will affect the new players mainly. And the problem currently that we have is simply the fact that the crystal pools are huge. There are so many champions in the game that realistically you are extremely unlikely to dupe your 4 and 5 star champions. Now fundamentally that would be a larger problem in game's whole progression core, but Kabam has items like Awakening Gems which are being utilized extremely well in my opinion, and that's one of the things that they have gotten right to like the 4 and 5 star level. Because when you get this 4 star champion that's really cool, or 5 star champion that's really cool, it's going to be a really hard task to dupe them naturally. But quite frequently Kabam makes these 5 star Awakening Gems available for us pretty much on semi-monthly or monthly basis, so we are able to earn a fairly decent amount of them, and we kind of mitigate the difficulty that comes, the increased difficulty that comes with increased hero champion pools with these Awakening Gems. So that part of the game is fine. However, that still affects new players extremely drastically, because if you cannot dupe your 4 star and 5 star champions, you are lacking a lot of ISO, because 4 and 5 star champion dupes is basically the place where you get a large amount of your ISO, because they award very attractive 24 blocks of like the largest ISO that's available pretty much. The problem is the fact that you only get them when you dupe these champions. Now, around the actual practicality aspect of duping a champion, as I mentioned before, you can get by using an Awakening Gem. But if you open 5 new 4 star crystals and only one of them is dupe and 4 of these champions are new, well then you can't rank up any of them, because a single dupe is not enough ISO to actually kind of like level up a 4 star from, I don't know, rank 3 to 4 for instance. But let alone you get 4 of these new champions that you cannot do anything with because you are severely struggling with Iso-8 and gold. Well, then first and foremost, the increase of gold in my plan, in my vision in the game, would simply be made available via overall increase of ISO, because ISO basically equals gold, because you can always sell ISO for relatively reasonable rates, and if you have absolute truck ton of ISO, you can sell it and you're gonna have gold, right? Obviously currently the problem is if you're low on both, you can sell the ISO, you're gonna get the gold, but you're not gonna have the ISO to use them on champions. But overall increasing the amount of ISO that is available in game, that will also significantly mitigate the gold problem, because you're gonna be able to sell your ISO more frequently. Right, so that is the core idea here. Increasing amount of ISO in game would increase the amount of gold that is available. But how do we go about it? What would be like the easiest way? Because obviously you can say just add in more ISO and rewards, or whatever else. Or I don't know, make an Iso-8 arena. It should be a stupid solution in my opinion, because arenas suck. In my opinion, there are two very simple things that can drastically change acquisition of ISO, and at the same time not hindering the game progression too much and the game economy, as everybody likes to talk about. And first and foremost would be add the ISO bonus that you get from duplicating a champion, even if you pull it the first time. It's as simple as that. Because a hero crystal pool now is so savage and so large, then you can overcomplicate the problems and release several different crystals for several varied prices and make them each cost differently. 2015 crystals can cost the least amount, thus they could basically be ISO crystals, and then 2019 crystals would cost more or whatever. I have heard that kind of plans, but I think it's overall too complicated, too convoluted, and would absolutely not make any sense realistically, because nobody would go for 2015 and 2016 crystals realistically unless they're specifically hunting for one champion, and that would be overall frustrating experience. But a very simple solution to the ISO problem would be if Kabam awarded the ISO even if you pull the champion for the first time. So if you pull a 4-star Electra and it's a new champion, still give those 24 ISO bricks. If 24 is too generous, make it 18 ISO bricks or something smaller amount. Don't give out the shards, don't give out anything else that would affect the amount and speed you can acquire these champions. Just give out pure bare bones ISO for when you pull a new champion. Because realistically, 3 years ago, if you ended up pulling a 4-star, you were much more likely to dupe it, because guess what? There were like 100 less champions in game total. Currently, the pool is so large, and if you are relatively new and progressing in the game, you are going to be missing majority of 4 and 5-star champions. Thus, every time you open a crystal, you are much more likely to open a new champion that you cannot do anything with because you don't have enough ISO. But yeah, this also would not impact the endgame community at all whatsoever, because when you have played this game for 2 or 3 years, you're realistically going to be pretty much duping the champions in 19 out of the 20 crystals that you open, let's say in 4-star class or whatever. So that wouldn't change acquisition there for the endgame players and for the players who have spent significant time building the roster, but it would speed up the acquisition for all the newcomers and let them kind of like not be ISO and gold pool all the time, and actually give these resources so they can invest in champions, so they can experiment with champions that they like. Because currently, if you are bringing up a new account, you kind of have to know whether a champion is good or bad. You have to know or have a suspicion whether you're going to like playing it or not, because realistically you can't simply take him up to rank 3 and test him out, because guess what? ISO and gold is a problem and you don't want to risk it and invest in a bad decision, so to speak. So here is solution number 1 again. Just give out the ISO bricks also when you pull a champion for the first time. Simple. You can give out slightly less if you have to, or just give out exactly the same amount ideally. Thus new players will have access to much more ISO, and by extension will be able to take up these champions, and they're going to have much easier life, and still they can sell the ISO and sort out their gold problem. And I think that would be a significant kind of like benefit to the community if Kabam could make this happen. Obviously, Kabam economy guys would need to run some numbers, but I think it wouldn't overall affect the game economy too much, because it doesn't affect the endgame players and the players with more established rosters. It just kind of increases your ability to catch up and to progress, I would say. Would give you kind of like more equal footing, because currently if a player who has played this game for 3 years opens a 4-star crystal, he's gonna get the shards and he's gonna get the ISO. When you open a 4-star crystal, you're likely gonna get a new champion, but no shards and no ISO, thus pretty much no gold. So yeah, that would be one very simple solution that I think could help newer players. But for more experienced players, the answer could actually be even more simple. And that would be simply by increasing the amount of 4-stars you can earn in harder pieces of content. Now, 4-star crystals obviously by themselves do not mean too much. Realistically, we look at the 4-star crystals as ISO and 5-star shards, right? Which they effectively are. So why not, let's say for if you go in, I don't know, uncollected, let me jump in uncollected quest. Let's quickly check it out. So went quest, uncollected, and what's rewards. So we have 35 100 5-star shards, which these rewards are somewhat outdated. But what I'm trying to say is, why don't you just remove, let's say, 250 5-star shards or 500 5-star shards from uncollected quest, but add in 2 4-star crystals. That's a very simple solution, and effectively most players will be still able to acquire the same amount of 5-star shards, with the difference that these 5-star shards will come with an ISO attached to them, right? It's a very kind of like a simple idea. Just reduce the amount of 5-star shards that we can earn in some of the monthly event quests like uncollected, and some of the monthly side event quests. Take away 500, 1000 5-star shards, but add in 2 and 4 4-star crystals, because then they effectively will translate to the same amount of 5-star shards. Thus you will not realistically change the amount of endgame resource we are receiving, but you will drastically increase the amount of ISO we are able to earn by completing this piece of content. And again, this will not affect lower tier players who are just starting out, because realistically they will not be able to explore this piece of content so easily. And even if they did, they still do not get any more 5-star shards. If anything, they get slightly less 5-star shards because they are more likely to pull new 4-star champions. So it wouldn't alter the actual progression speed of any group, realistically, because yeah, endgame players still end up with the same amount of 5-star shards, just more ISO attached to them. And newer players, well, they get more ISO, or they're unable to complete this content to begin with. So 2 very simple solutions: add in ISO bricks for acquiring champions for the first time, and reduce the amount of 5-star shards in endgame content slightly, in the rate of 250 5-star shards reduction, but add in 4-star crystal for every single one of those 5-star shard packs that you reduce. And thus people have much more ISO to do. And that is also pretty much kind of like my biggest piece of advice for people who are struggling with golden ISO. Just try and acquire as many 3 and 4-star crystals as you can. Thus you should try and explore master mode and heroic, because they award some 4-star crystals and stuff like that, because all of these 4-star crystals transfer to ISO. So currently, if you are struggling with ISO and gold, the biggest piece of advice I can give for you is just try and put your hands on as many 4-star crystals as you possibly can, even if you do not care about 4-star champions altogether. They are by far the best source of ISO in the game that we can have, because they are relatively easy to acquire crystal. That gives a lot of ISO. It gives exactly the same amount of ISO as duping a 5 or 6-star champion does. So here we go. Just let everybody kind of have more 4-star crystals, and ISO problem will be solved, and work as a player yourself to get the 4-star crystals for you. So that'll pretty much do for the video. I'm gonna jump back up to the scene here. So remember, 2 simple things to fix the ISO and gold problem for majority of the players in game. Give the ISO to people when they pull the champion for the first time, and reduce the 5-star shards in endgame content by a small margin, but for every 250 or so 5-star shards that you take away, add in a 4-star crystal. Thus everybody gets more ISO. Thus you can sell the ISO for gold if that is what you want to do. And yeah, in my opinion, this would be a very kind of like potent and effective solution that wouldn't alter the natural progression of the game at all. Just create more ISO that's available in the game economy and gold. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think about my idea, or maybe if you have a better idea, then also let me know. But all things being said and done, I am done for today, and that means, you guys know what that means. Baby Yoda is gonna appear and try and wind down the emotions. So hopefully you'll like the video. If you didn't like the video, hopefully you'll at least like Baby Yoda and can still hit that like button. If you do not like video or Baby Yoda, well then you are one very weird individual, and I would feel more comfortable if you left right now. All that being said and done, I'm out. See ya.